Got a lot of new e-bike videos. A lot of new e-bike videos. Joe Biden fell off his bike, but I've yet to crash or fall off mine. Ride the Wind e-bikes has new videos. Big Lufu, she always puts out new videos. She's the one that the bikes come from. She owns the company. She runs the company Ride the Wind e-bikes. That's Canada's number one. Because they have, you know why I say the number one? Because they have the financing. Without the financing, that's what makes them number one, sets them apart from every other e-bike sales. If you have credit, doesn't matter if you're on ODSP, doesn't matter if you are not, you just have money and you want to leverage and get an e-bike, they got them at the Ride the Wind e-bikes. Cow Gemini, that's the one I got. I've even been able to get a little Cali muscle going on. There's Mike Buddy. As everyone knows, the neighborhood loves my e-bike and everything. It's got its own life of its own, a whole life of its own out there. Here's when it first arrived. The guys that sell them over on near, where is it? No, Southampton. I was going to say they were in Sauble, but no, they're in Southampton. They have the e-bikes for sale. I got to go to he's got to go to a lot of places. Harvey's, he's tried Pizzaville, McDonald's, Wolfie. Shout out to Wolfie's. I won't be using Wolfie's no more. Not even in the wintertime. Not even in the wintertime. I'm not going to be using Wolfie's. I'd rather eat Amazon than take Wolfie's. I'll be taking my e-bike. I'll be taking my e-bike to the grocery store. It doesn't matter if it's wintertime or what. I'll hop on my e-scooter and all that. He used to take a taxi before. He doesn't take the taxi now. Taxis try to monopolize people, eh? They think they control people. And they don't. They take advantage of disabled people that need their services sometimes. And then there's people that moved on. We got our bike, we got our vehicle, we got our this and that. We don't need them. And you don't got rights over my apartment. You don't got rights over my character, over what's in my pocket, my possessions. You don't have anything over rights about anything of me just because I rode in your taxi before. So watch people, they try to do that, eh? Reminds me of that story. There's a story of a kid on YouTube. He got shot by a shotgun or whatever. He went to this wrong area. Next thing you know, they thought they ran the guy and they shot him with a shotgun, the kid with a shotgun, and started touching him and all that. You got to be careful of that. And the two main people you got to be careful with that are taxi drivers is the first one. And then the second one would be your police, because they deal with those people all day long. That's all the police and everyone deals with. So stay away from the police and stay away from the taxi drivers, and you're going to live a good life. And that's basically even if you're not doing anything wrong and you're just an innocent person, stay away from them if you're not one of them. Because you're getting in their way. You're either getting in their way, as much as I like the police activity videos. When it comes to real police, don't go anywhere near them. You're only going to get in their way. You'll get in their crossfire. They've never helped me with anything, really. One time somebody robbed me by a tablet. I yelled, please, he's right there. He just drove off. It's basically on you as your own man. You're either a handicapped person or you are the police, or you're a man that's the police. You're either a man that's the police or you're a man that's getting pushed around by the police. So, what is the circumventional measures that we can take as the general public so that we're not getting pushed around by the police so they can't just take advantage of us? Second Amendment right, the right to have a firearm here in Canada under the PAL or the RCMP system. Many people don't know it's not just the PAL system here in Canada. We also have an RCMP paperwork system for the firearms as well. It's not just PAL licenses. There's two things. A person can have a PAL license, or they can have a certain antique firearm that's been given the paperwork. And yes, they can have exemplary privileges to have cartridges for their $5,000 or $10,000 antique firearm. Or else, why would somebody buy a $5,000 or a $10,000 one of these firearms? A kid that needs a firearm to protect his house, to protect his apartment from criminal activity, such as homicide and all that. It's happening here in Canada at a frequent rate, so much so the RCMP's changed the stipulations. If you're an antique holder, you can get permissions. If you can find what they're calling reloaders, if you're in the community and you're approved by a PAL or an RPAL reloader, that's somebody that manufactures their own ammunition. Somebody that manufactures their own ammunition, they can, under the reloader laws, they can give you, trade it, all that. It's all changed. We now have that gunpost.ca. It's been around for 4 years now. There's a whole reloader community. It's all changed now. It's changing now. I'm one of the first ones to take advantage of this benefit. No, that's what his RPAL responsibility has given him. Just like in the United States, they have gun dealer licenses where that person can hold automatics and all that. Well, we're kind of like going to be like sort of like the United States to a certain degree, but at the same time, nothing close. We have our RPAL, our PAL system. And then, yeah, there is a very rare amount. I'm the only one with my firearm out of millions of people. There's a very rare amount of people that can afford an antique for $10,000, $5,000, $2,000, all that. And then you know how much cartridges are costing in the reloading community? $8 a cartridge. Whereas PAL holders can go on cabela's.ca. Hey, it was just like marijuana prohibition, just like alcohol prohibition was the firearm and cartridge prohibition. That was just like the marijuana and the alcohol. They're saying it's changing. So a guy like you have your PAL, you know the benefits you can get. You can get a shotgun for $400, a beautiful repeater. You can get all these ones that antique ones can't get. They have the old revolvers, double action at the most. And then they have they don't have I have some Remington cartridges because I've had them gifted to me, because there is no restriction on cartridges. They can be gifted to people and all that. Because I was somebody that needed to be gifted that, because well, it took 28 years to find my guy. And it's all legal, just like a legal gun dealer and all that, but he can't sell me PAL rated ones. He can't sell me licensed, restricted, and all that. It's only to do with the antiques and the reloadables and all that. The reloadable cartridges and the antiques, and that's all. And the RCMP has classified the certain antiques, okay? And then I think they're also allowing those flare guns, the one shot, 410 adjustable, 12 gauge even adjustable flare guns or whatever. They're allowing those, but when it comes to your pump shotguns, your semi-autos, your bolt actions, your all that, still PAL restricted and all that. You got to have your license for that. All the ones that anybody really, really wants. You know, I have my antique to keep me safe or whatever, but of course he wants one of these smooth semi-autos. That's what I had when I was a kid. But what was he saying about ammunition? Oh, when you buy ammunition, even the price of ammunition is cheaper when you have your PAL. Like unbelievably cheaper. You can get a whole box of ammunition, ACP or what have you, because those antiques mostly are rimfire. Some of them are ACP. The one I have is rimfire, which we all know isn't the best. But when we're talking ammunition, you can get a whole box for $44.99 when you have your PAL. I don't have my PAL. I have my antique with my $8 per cartridges. I have to pay $8 per round that I want to have here. So if I want to go shooting or something like that for fun, I'm paying $8 a round through my RAPL holder to then thus get my rounds. But I don't have a 223 yet. I'm still working to get my PAL eventually. I might have to change provinces eventually to get my PAL or whatever. There's a center fire rifle ammunition there. Yeah, you can see $34.99 for a box or whatever. And so, yeah, it's better to be a PAL holder, obviously. I wish I was. But I could have been all the way up until the point Phil Thompson purposely messed up my record. So once that gets expunged, I'll get my PAL here in Canada. I just have to get that expunged or I have to go to a separate province. But until then, I still have a 410 single shot. They've allowed it's the flare gun AC unities. They don't have many of them. Only the most special people got one, like Staximili or whatever. Everybody else is super special. They got their PALs, and if you don't have one, unfortunately, you didn't qualify. Or you need to do more research and all that to be able to qualify. It's a research and investment thing. You have to know every in and out of it or whatever to be able to be one. You can't just jump right into it. Some people jumped right into it, and I could have did that. But I had to self-defend myself one day because there was a guy that was targeting me. I got targeted. Oh, well. And that's what I say. Oh, well. It's not that big of a deal to me. I have my guns. I have a 32 caliber revolver and a but don't take it lightly. These are real firearms. So even though I don't have ACP semi-auto 223, he's still got a 32 revolver that will keep me safe. So that's all that matters. And then we'll see who's the good person or who's the bad one violating the laws or whatever. And then I know I'll eventually get my 223 and all that. Certain ones die and all that. There's a lot of certain baby boomers that are just clinging on. I mean, they've been making it hell for us for the past whatever. They're the ones with a lot of them have their no, it's their sons and stuff that have the 223s, right? Yeah. Once those sons get out, we can get those sons out. They're trying to turn it to like a Nazi Germany. That was their big investment. Give their sons the 223s and like make it COVID-19, kill people, take advantage of people with your firearm and all that. That's what some of them tried to do and trying to do.